Today's daf is up top of Bava. We're continuing to learn about Geneva, Zela, and we had a different opinions of Yehuda and of Shimon, the Shevach, the improvement on the animal while still on the animal itself, whether it goes, I was reading a Papa arguing how to understand the argument between Rav Yehuda and Rav Shimon, whether Rav Yehuda holds that what Rav Shimon says that everything that belongs to the Gazlan, and Rabbi Yehuda says no, that you have to give it back to you give the animal itself back to the owner, and any shevach on the animal belongs to the nigzel, and he only has to pay him any shevach that was at the time when he stole it. But any shevach beyond that belongs to the shevach belongs to the gazlan, and the Shimon holds all the way around. And then we had a different version how to understand it. Machlek between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. So we are continuing over here. And the second version, of Papa's version, is the other way around. Everybody holds it belongs to the Gazlan, but Rav Shimon says it's a sort of partnership between the Gazlan and the Nigzel. You share a half, a third, a quarter between the two of them. So we are up to the Gemara Tzadik Vav Amud Aleph. And just interesting, as we go through the Gemara, you see how the Gemara segues into halachas that are totally outside the purview, you would think, of the sugi we're learning right now. So we are up to the two dots. Amar Rava, says Rava. Gozal, let's say you stole something, you improved it, and then you sold it to a third party. Or the Gozal, you stole it, you improved it, you bequeathed it to your heirs. Whatever rights you had, you pass on to them as well. And depending whichever opinion it is, we had, if the sheva belongs completely to the Gazan, then whoever you sold it to, the sheva belongs completely to that person. Well, your rights is what you sold. If you hold like Reb Shimon that the Gazan are entitled to part of the sheva and the rest goes to the nigel, then that's what you pass on to your children or to the one who bought it from you. Whatever it is that you, whatever the mashbiach, they're because you're passing on to them whatever rights you had. Pass on to your children. We're up to the first wide line in the Gemara. So Rava has an interesting question. What happens if, let's say, the buyer improved this lot, the field? Mao, what's it in then? So we say, exactly we said before, the boy heard the pasha after he asked the question, resolved it. He sells him all the rights. And because he sold him all of his rights, whatever the Gazlan would have happened to the Gazlan, but the Shevach, either he gets to keep all of it, or like Reb Shimon, he gets to keep part of it. The same thing is the Lekech. Any improvements he made, if the Nigzel comes along and seizes the field and takes it back, then he goes to the Gazlan, hey, reimburse me. These are the entitlements that he has. So now Rav has an interesting question. What happens that, let's say, it was a goy that improved the field? So what happens to the goy then? Did he go back to you and collect the shvach? What's the question? We're trying to help out the buyer. Why would we want to help out the goyish buyer? We don't make special colors for that. Now it's not so simple, because what is the reason why the Gazlan actually gets to keep the shevach? There's two ways of learning regarding the shevach. Is it because shini, and shini is koina, or is it because of takana sashavim? So Teisa has a whole chakir before. Is it the machlis main time? Is it because of shini or because of takana shavim? If you hold takana shavim, it's not really a shini. Why is it really a shini? Because this can be considered a shini ha'chayzer. The animal gets pregnant again and again, even though we explain it's not really a shini ha'chayzer because it's a new animal, it's a new baby calf, it's new hair, but still it's not a full shini like we normally say. So it's not a full shini. You can argue maybe this is not the case of shini kaina. So rather the din would be, so the reason why we say the Gazlan can keep it is because the takana shavim, otherwise you won't return. So encourage you to give it back. So if it's a takana shavim, what's the question? Then it makes sense. Why should we make a takana to help the goyat? But if it's because of the halacha, the din says that shini kaina, then what's the chilgi of goy? What's the chilik? You sold it to a guy, or you didn't sell it to a guy, or the shbiach guy. If it's a shini kaina, then shini is kaina. It's not the original item. It's not a takana that they made.
Maybe the yid has a bit of issues of xela. We want to help him out to do tshuva, to be the kind that.
I'm saying if it's nothing to do with takana shavim, if it's because the din is it's not the item you stole. So if you gave it, if there's a guy did it, what's the chilik? That it's not the item that he stole. Why should there be a question? The Gemara said, should we go ahead and make a takana to help out the guy? What takanas? We're saying it's not the item that the unless because it's a shvache shina. Even if you hold the shina koine here, it's a shvache, it's a weak kind of a shina because it's like a shina place. Therefore, we need a little bit of help, like a little bit of takanas. It's not really takana shavim. So the Gemara is saying, but by guy, we don't do that. We're talking about a goy, who stole it and he passed it on to a yid. So now, do we help the Yiddish Bayra? But he already is distant from the, he's like the the next generation. He's third generation. So the whole word you said before is that the seller gives all his rights, entitlements to the buyer. So where would this Yiddish buyer get more rights from him? He's no better than the vendor. So if the vendor doesn't have this, no takanas ashavim, so then the buyer, the Yid, also cannot keep any of the improvements, gives it all back, and that's it. Doesn't get reimbursed. Going, this is what happened. The Gazel Yisrael, a Yid stole it. Then then he sold it to a guy, and the guy improved it. And then then he sold it on to another Yid. Does a second Yid link back to the first Yid, and therefore we would help him out, or do we say no? The guy in between ends this the connection, and therefore it's like a guy selling other guy. He's only passing on his rights. In other words, the shaila seems to be like this. When we say that when you sell your rights to the second person, you sell them all the takanas. Is the pshat is that he's standing in your place? Is that the pshat? Or the pshat is that the same reason that we made this takana for the first guy, we're going to make it now for the second guy. If the vort is a new takana, but for the same reason, because it's continuation, so then even though it goes in the middle, you should pass it on. It doesn't matter. Huh? But if it tell me it just that each one steps in the place. Once the guy came in between, he doesn't step in the place of the yid, then the third guy has nowhere to step into. And that's the shaila. And they want to arrange with 8 teku. Says he might have further. You stole a palm tree from your friend, you cut it down. Even though, let's say, you're a neighboring property and you moved it from his property to your property, his property. Why not? Because it's not a shini. Why isn't it? You cannot say, "Oh, I'll pay you the money, shini kaina. I'm keeping the tree here." You have to give him back the original tree. Why? Because there's no shini here whatsoever. My time with me, there's no real shini here because it's still a palm tree, and therefore it's not a proper shini. What happened? Dikla, you stole a palm tree, but you made logs out of it. Like honey. Why? Because Hashemi the guva dikla is still called the logs of a palm tree. What a guviv you took the logs and you then shaped them into beams. Then kani. Why? Because a new name. Has a new. Now it's called beams. It's no longer called palm logs. What about you took these beams and you cut them down to smaller sizes, like kani. Avdina ketzutzaisav, he made it into boards. No, you took a beam, which is, I guess, bigger and thicker and round, whatever, and you flattened it out, you made it into a board, then kani, because you made a new name. It changed. Shinei Hashem. Rabbi says, Hi Mandagoza Luliva, you stole a lulav. You stole a lulav, Avdina, you made it, Hutze, you made it into, let's say, branches, kani. Why? What happened was you stole a lulav and you changed it from a lulav and you spread out the branches. And you separate each branch from a lulav has to be tight, copper smart. And here you sort of separated all the leaves from the spine. So therefore, kani mekada luliva mikra v'hashna hutza. Sorry, hutza. Before it was called a lulav, not called hutza. What about hutza v'avdina chufya? Let's say they were separated and you sort of brought them to chufya as a broom. So now you change it from this lulav with all these leaves hanging all over the place, and now you turned it into a broom. Is kani or kani? Why? Mikara hutza v'hashna chufya. Now it's a broom. Broom, you split open the leaves, and so on. So it's a new name. Chufya v'avdei sharshura. Let's say you took a broom and then you made it into a rope. You sort of tied it to get turned into a rope. Like kani, that you're not kani. Why not? Because that's a shinah dahada. My time at dahada sasal have a chufya. If you unravel it, the rope then goes back to what it was. It could be a broom. Boira papa nechelka hatiyemis. This is a din in Hilchos Lulav, and what happened was you split the tiyemis, the twins. Mao, yeah. Now what exactly tiyemis? So Rashi here says the way Taisa understood. And the other Rishonim understood Rashi. You have the two top leaves. Every leaf in a lulav is two bound together. So that's not called tiyem because that's what the leaves are. The leaves of a lulav are, doubles. But the top two leaves are connected, and those top two leaves are connected is called tiyemis. And if that's split, it's possible. So Taisa says and that's what Taisa says here. Uli divrei I just quote you Taisa. Lo yimatzel lanu lulav kosher. You won't find anybody has a kosher lulav. Have you ever seen a lulav where the top two leaves are actually connected? Even 1 in 500, you won't find a lulav that, and if you do find, it's an aberration. It's not normal, so you can't be that shot. So they understand that shot there is. If you had a lulav that had those two leaves and they split, then it's possible. But if you didn't have the chatchil, you only have like we have one leaf that's longer than the rest. One branch that's longer than the rest. Then that's not a problem. So another pshat is where the tiyemis themselves, these leaves, the majority of the leaves of the lulav split open, or Rashi and Sukkah says the very top leaf, one leaf, is split open most of the way down to the spine. Bottom line is nechla tiyemis mao.
He says it's the highest part of the tree itself. The actual part. So it's not a din in each individual lulav. It's a din in the whole tree.
Yeah, but nobody understands it that way. They understand that means that the top leaves of the lulav.
Of that specific lulav.
Yeah. Touch over here. The question is the lulav possible or not? It says that if the tiyemis is taken away, it's possible. If it's taken away, it's possible. If it's there and split, it's also possible. My labu adin lenachaka. There no raya. Why nitla shiny? The chasala. If it's there, even though it's split, chalpachas is there. Mashenkin, if it's nitla, if it's totally gone, it's possible. You cannot extrapolate from one to the next. You can have the other say publicate. That it has the same din. That if it's missing or split is the same din. In fact, you can argue split is even worse. It's not the chatchila, then that's how it is. But nitla means it was there, you took it away. So which is worse? The entire thing is missing, or is there? It's constantly in front of you. There's a mum there because it's split. Which is worse? You stole dust, sand from your friend. But you took the sand and you turned it into a brick. Like Connie, it's not a shinui. My timer, you can always undo what you did. It's a shinui ha'chayzer. I remember he said a shinui ha'chayzer, according to many, is not kain at all. Or it's only according to Bai, it's only kain with the Rabban. My time at the Hadam Ashlaf, easily to bring it back to revert it back to sand. What about the other way around? Levain, so you stole a brick of the after you made into sand. Then Connie. You can always turn it back into brick. It'll never be the same. My time, what are you going to say? You can turn it back into brick. Something else. It's not the same brick. What about the puppet? In other words, because you can never get exactly the same size, exactly the same. So it's a new brick. It's a new brick, which is the same svara we use. Why it's not called shina chayzer when the hair grows back, the wool grows back on animals. It's not the same wool. Here, it's better. It is the same sand, but it's not the same. It doesn't look the same. It's not. You can never get it exactly to be the same. Which means today have a mold. It's regular sand. It's the original sand. There's nothing else here different. There's nothing different here. It's the sand that you originally used to make the brick, and now it reverts back to that. So the Gemara, what about Haman the Nazi stole a piece of a chunk of silver, Mechaber, but obviously turn into coins, like honey. My timer, why not? Can you make a shinny? Because you just melt the coins down, they revert right back to silver. It's not exactly the same shape, but nobody really cares when it comes to silver. It's just a commodity. You're not here to be a brick on a house on a building. It doesn't matter if it's exactly the same shape or not. So what are you talking to if you have a form, a mold? And then the whole bunch is not exactly the same. But if you put it back into the mold, bricks, and you take the sand and you put it back into the mold, it's exactly the same as it was before. Is that what it is?
With the silver, I think it's like you said, commodity. It's not from the artist. It's no matter. It's silver.
Exactly.
You had a craftsman who turned it into something.
So yeah, if you want to make your lifestyle on, yeah, right. Ravi. Zuzim money babdin naschel. You stole money, turned into silver. Kani. Then you are crazy. It's a shini. My time, my I'm going to say, Hodr Avla Zuzah, Pani Chadash is Bava Kama. When it comes to coins, you can't make exactly the same money. It's the same exactly. Shchimi, let's say you got all darkened from use, blackened. Babdin Chadzi, you cleaned it up and made it nice. Like Kani. Why? Because over time it will go black again. But Chadati Babdin Shchimi Kani. My I'm going to say, Hodr Avla Chadzi, make it do again. Made the yum Shchimi. Always they can sell some residue left from the fact. You can tell something is used. No matter a used item, no matter how much you clean it up, you can tell that it's a used item. Zekla, we'll let the Mishnah rule is you pay the original price. Last three, what does it come to include? You already include. You gave us 3 cases in the Mishnah that there's a change. The Gazan gets to keep it. What do you come to include? Last year, we had him that Samach Bava Gonaf Tle, you stole the sheep and Nasa Ayel. No, you stole the sheep and now it became a ram. It itself just changed. Egel v'nasashay. This is like the egel itself changed. By the case of the wool, something extraneous to it. By the case of the calf, again, it's extraneous to it. Here, the animal itself changed, and that's also considered a shini. You can argue, mamish the animal. There's nothing. This is the original animal. Nothing here. By the calf, there's something additional. A new thing came in. Here, a new thing came in. This is the animal. But that's again is considered a shini, and you are koine. We had a machlekes there, but Abba Loy holds that. Nasa shini b'yadu b'kroy, and you're koine. Tovach, if he then proceeded to shechter the mocha sell, it's yours. So, because of the shini is kind of. Then we had the Gemara the Chalila v'daitoch. Who got the person that goes to Padana the Torah Mechaber? He stole 2 cows. A cow that was set up to plow a field. He stole that from his friend, and he decided to use it in his field to plow his field. Although Kodabu Karba, he went ahead and he plowed his field, and Zora Buzari then went ahead and planted his field. And let's say after he didn't need any more, he got back. Lunch. Also, the Kamanachman, the victim came to Nachman, hey, you stole my cows and used it for his field. Amalu, Nachman said, Zilu Shoyim Shwacha, the Ashbach, he told the guy to pay all the benefit. That's how we understand right now. The entire benefit that your field had from these stolen animals, you need to pay that person as well. Pay back to that person. Says the Gemara. Now, just like a buyer attacked Rabbi Yisrael Rabba, we have a number of times Rabba do the same thing. Not as often, but we're giving the whole credit to the cows, where the field has no credit. Why you give the entire benefit to the victim? Okay, the cows had some input into the field, but it's the soil, it's everything else that's about this particular field that this crop grew so well. Did I say in the Shaima Kula? The partners. Half goes to Nigel and half goes to the Gazlan because of his field. I'm gonna say Soif Gzelu. It's Gzela. The kahadja be'inan, and you have to give it back. He stole the animals, and you got to give it back the way it was at the time he stole it, which means the shvach happened. Is separate. It's not called like all you have to do is pay whatever is worth at the time of the exaler. No, the whole input from the field, he shouldn't be paying. And you shvach shevach on the field, he shouldn't be paying because you only pay kishas exaler. This happened after the exaler. He said to him, Nachman said to him, angry. Loy aminalov. Didn't I ever tell you? I don't think we ever came across it before in the Gemara. She must told them must have a lot of conversations that we're not really privy to. That's true.
Discussions across yeshivas across hundreds of years.
He asked even the bedim, and I'm sitting in this chair here as a dayan. Like Teimulimidi. Don't utter a sound. The Amahu v'Chavir, Rabhuna, my friend, said a lie about me. And not I, the Shava Malka, Shava the king, which is a reference to Shmuel, and Shmuel the halacha like Shmuel when it comes to din, is Shava Malka Achi Bedina. We're equals when it comes to paskening. We're both men of stature. Hi, and you want to know my cheshbon? I'll give you my cheshbon. I'm not going to ever tell you again. Hi, Inir Gazlana Atiko. This is a career criminal. I gotta penalize him so he should stop. Even though he doesn't have to pay because you got to stop him one way or another. So that's why we decided to do this. The whole way we had last time, and we had just 2 days ago. The Takanas Hashavim, according to we said, don't take the stolen item back. If the guy that wants to get back, just take it back. So what's the logic? We're talking about a career criminal, and the only way to reform them is to give him help. So the Mishnah writes, so the Mishnah we has before as well. Gozal behema, the skinny, you stole an animal and it aged. So the shina here. Avodim is slaves and they age. So the shina, mishalim, you don't pay the price. You can't just say, here, take it back. You got to pay whatever it was at the time when you stole it, because shini is cleaner. And Amir says, "Avodim when it comes to avodim, I say take it back." And we explained that the reason is avodim have the same status as karka, and karka ain't an nigzela. So anything that happened, the deterioration that happened to the Eved, happened in the possession of the nigzel, because karka ain't an nigzela. And the chacham hold that karka is like metalton. But if you remember, also before, Rav swapped the names around, as we'll see the sugi is right here. That's case number one. Case number two, Gozel Madbeya, you stole a coin, the Nizdik, and it cracked. So it's obvious the shini that took place there. Peiris v'hikivu, fruits, and now it rotted. Yayin v'hechvetz, came sour. Mishalon kshazeh, these are all shini that are noticeable, so you pay the price. When it wasn't stolen, you keep this. What about Madbeya v'nifso? What about a coin? Nothing wrong with the coin, but it's out of currency. So it's not obvious when you look at it. Or Truma v'nitmas. You stole truma and you made it and became tummy. Nobody can tell us. These are all hazekim, which are not nikr. Chometz v'awal Pesach. Now it's after Pesach. Again, you look at the chometz, you can't tell anyone with it. Behema is abrabo of this avda. You stole a behema and you use it for avodah zarah. You did an aveda, or bestiality. It's possible. And what is it not possible? It's possible now for a carbon. Now you ruined this animal. As far as eating it, you'll not eat it. But to ruin the animal, you cannot bring his bech. Pashas look to bring him his bech. But these are all cool. Or you made a mum in the animal. These are all hezeshenik. Or you made a mum that's not obvious. Rashi says, for example, the cataract of the eye, which you can't really tell. In all these cases, or the animal was killed someone, so now the bezin paskin to be stoned. But you look at the animal. No, I stole the animal. I had the animal killed, not bezin paskin. But you look at the animal, you can't tell. In all these cases, he has the right to say, take your animal back because it's not obvious. It's not obvious.
But sometimes it is enormous difference.
Oh, so now the Rashi adds one thing. When it comes to the animal in the Mizbeach, even if it's a mum that good golui, so the Chayda, you can use it for anything else, but not for the Mizbeach. So the Rashi, that's not a chsarn. Why is that a chsarn? Because the Chol Hamid Behem is lav Mizbeach kind, but every animal has to be used for the Mizbeach. Get another animal. Oh, that's not clear.
Megabucks, and you put something on its back, so now it did avoid it. So I didn't
I've done the same thing. I say I should call it for so, but lots of they Shemai might do, but not lots of the other. Yes, you're right. We don't have to mean came very old. It became weaker, leaner. So the shini is far less. That's sufficient shini. You cannot have it. But now in his kinat, clearly it says here he aged with it sounds like it's a major drastic change, not just some slight change. So when we say when we say kachsha, we mean it became leaner not because you didn't feed it enough. So if you just feed it for another 2-3 weeks, it'll get back to normal. Somebody it got weaker, even though it's slight, but as long as it cannot revert back, just like when you age. The word of aging here is as an example that's you can't get younger again. So Ponce de Leon finds a fountain of youth. You can get younger again. So over here also, the kind of deterioration of this cow is something that is no longer. I guess he cannot heal properly. Yeah, but it can become healthy again, like it will use. And so therefore, he says you can no longer say harei shalach fanecha because you made a change. A change happened. Whether you made it or happened by itself doesn't matter.
And he said that story. He said it's a bit like.
So the Rebbe of Hesh, there's a movement against him because he's only by myths. Rebbe of Hesh, no. Rebbe of Hesh is called. He's a big Rebbe about 300 years ago. He said, "I promise you, I'll work on it every day." Oh, he said, "I'll promise you, I'll work fixing up this mum every single day." And get older. Talking about it further, all about Shisha, Ravashi, Mark Shisha, the son of Chida, said Ravashi had 2 sons, Mayunuka, Mark Shisha. Strange names. Kishim is old, Yinukim is young. And Tosha has two opinions who is actually older. We'll have that in Babasa, actually. I feel gone up Klev and Nasa Isle. Even if you stole a lamb, it became a ram, or a eagle, a calf, and Nasa Shoyd, and became a cow. Nasa Shini Biyoda Kanoi. It was a shini in your hand. No, this was learning more before. But now, before was Abeloi. Now we say Rabbi Yechanan. He goes ahead and shechs and sells it. He's potter because he's sold the animal. He told him off. So he's the Rabashi told him off. Lav Amina, didn't I tell you? Loy Tachlib Gavra, stop messing up the names. Ahu Mashmei Rabeloi Yidmar. Why is he going to have to record that part? It's embarrassing. Yeah, not only that. Rav Ashi was born according to Rashi. The Gemara says Mishemeis Rabbi Rav Ashi. Rav Chizda was the Rebbe of Rabbi. So Mark Shisha, let's say, was Rav Chizda was one of the Rebbes of Rabbi. Rav Chizda, Rabbi, one of the Rebbes of Rabbi. So Mark Shisha and Mayinuka, especially if Mark Shisha is the older one, then he would have been the age of Rabbi, if not older. It says Rav Ashi was a young man. This man was a very old man, and this is how he talked to him. Tell you stop hacking me China and get the name wrong. It's just I don't know why is he gonna have to record it. I remember Meir Tzil once was really shaking for bringing the whole night. More in the beginning of Bob Mitzir, I married him. Lema deloike bananas. I'm mission like bananas. You care for these bananas, and for a block the Gemara said, yeah, bananas, not bananas, yeah, but. You see, well, I guess the same idea. You see how every word in Gemara is kedusha. He said, "This is emes. It doesn't matter whether you care or don't care. We need to know the emes. It's the author of the Mishnah Zay, the author of the Zay. You get the names right. Not Rabbi Yechanan. It was Rabbi Loi. But you just had the top of the page. How did you forget so fast? Anyway, I was kidding with no Gemara those days. Second Gemara weiter. Rameir says, the halacha is like Rameir. Sounds like a what? The halacha is like Rameir that avodim. By avodim we say the haresh cholofenech. Says the Gemara, Rav Shovik Rabbanon v'Avik Rameir. Where do you find that you pass like a single person against the rabbin? The Brisa Ivchetanya. It's because the Brisa swaps the name around. So really, Rav holds it's the Rabbanon who say that avodim are like karka, and for avodim you can say take it back, and it's not Rameir. So when he said the halacha Rameir, he meant the halacha Chacham. Says the Gemara. Rav Shovik Masnisim Avik Brisa, but our Mishnah clearly says it's Rameir who says it. You're telling me because the Brisa swaps the names around, he decided to swap the names around in the Mishnah to suit that. And when he said Rameir, he meant the Rabban. What's going on here? So the Gemara, Rav Masnisim Nami Yivchatani. Chatchila he learned the Mishnah differently. So when he said the halacha like Rameir, he meant the halacha like Chachamim, because he held the Chachamim. No, that we say that Rameir said that's the halacha, but really it's the Chachamim. That what? That by Avod you can say Harei Shacham Necha because Avda Kimekarka. Then we'll have a whole sugi we had before, and you maybe have a whole sugi if Avod Kimekarka now. Says the obviously Pascal that Avodim are the same status as Karka, and if they don't get stolen, you can say Harei Shacham Necha. Says the Gemara, what Bryce? What's going on here? The Gemara. My time or my the offered my sister come the price adra benefel the price and become my sister. The if you have a mission that says one way and you have the other way, which is more credible? The whole idea is a mission was studied by all the Tanoim Rebbe studied, and this is how it is. A Bryce was learned by Rabbi Chia, or Levi, whatever it is, only a few people outside of the yeshiva. So why would you trust the Bryce rather than the Mishnah? Because the Mishnah says. Not the Rabban. How can you pass this way? Adrab and Nefel Rebraisa Mekame Mastisin. Amri Rab Nami Mastisin. Ivcha Asna. He tackled the Mishnah this way. He learned the Mishnah this way. That was Rabbanon who said that Avodim you say Haresh L'Cholfenech. The boy say Kila, or I can say no. The Mishnah tak is recorded the way we have it. So why did the Rav decide to change the Mishnah around? Because he found two Brises. One Mishnah versus two Brises, he followed the Brises. You're right. You're not going to make any amendments in the Mishnah due to a Brise. One against one. We have one Mishnah, two Brises. The Tanya we learned. If somebody swaps, if you buy a potter, you buy a chamor. We're talking about a case here where the potter gave birth and you're not sure when it happened. It happened before the sale or after the sale, before the kinyan was made, after the kinyan was made. If you buy an animal outright, you cannot buy with money. Metaltlin, you buy with Mashiach. We'll have Batzin Hazov. The Chacham made a special takana that either that's a kinyan or the Chacham made a takana. Otherwise, it's your, once he got the money, he's not going to take care of it anymore. What does he care? It's your problem. Even though sitting in your house there's a flood, there's a fire. It's yours. So it's not his until he actually takes it out. So there can't be a suffix. If there's a kinyan Mashiach, when you pull it out, you know exactly when the baby calf was born, let's say. Was it born before you did the Mashiach or after the Mashiach? So to find a case where it's a suffix is the animal that you're swapping for is somewhere in the middle of your huppets. You have no idea, when the animal was born. How can that be? Chalipit. And by Chalipa, we make a swap. One person makes a kinyan on one animal, automatically the other animal belongs to the other person. Where is that other animal right now? Somewhere else, not here, not present. So that's why we don't know what happened. You swapped a let's say a cow for a donkey, and it gave birth. So what happened was the owner of the potter schlepped the chamor, and the potter gave birth to a baby calf. But we don't know, did that happen before the Bala potter took the chamor or after? He sells his maid, selling a maid, you could sell with money, but the maid doesn't have to be present. So you don't know when she was pregnant, you don't know when she gave birth. So the seller says it was a Maidashus, and the other guy doesn't know. So we have a general rule, body v'shema, one guy is certain, one guy is in doubt. Of course, you follow the body. Then Zachaboy. Whoever says whatever he knows for a fact what happened is the one who ends up with a baby calf. What about any day? Both say we don't know. Then Yachleiku. Then we follow the Sumchis as who's got the calf? There's no nowhere. It's automatically it transfers a shus to this person here. But the question is whether the baby calf is part of that transfer or not. So there's no. It's not in your shus. It's the middle. Yeah, but it's not. Nowhere. That's what I'm saying. The calf is in the middle. Is in a hefka place or somewhere far away, and the moment you make chalipin, the calf becomes mine. The cow becomes mine. But the calf, that's good for the shaila. If the calf was already born, then it wasn't part of the chalipin process. Whatever the both vadai, each one claims 100%, mine. Then what do you do then? Yishava hamoicher. And who do we give the chance to swear? The seller swears that while he had it, it was born, and he gets to keep it. Why? Because when usually the rule is if it call whoever swears and doesn't pay. You swear and you don't pay. In other words, you don't find that you swear and you collect. Your Amadim makes it swears and he's parted from paying. You don't say to the guy, okay, you swear that he owes you the balance and he takes. Shvua is there to patter the person from paying, and not shvua is a form of payment and not to collect. These are the words of Meir. And the Chachamim say, Einish buying, you don't swear on the case of Avodim. The case of Potter, we agree. Why not on Avodim? Because Avodim have the same status as Karka. So what do we see that Meir holds? That Avodim does not have the same status as Karka. Klor. Here's a Braisa that Meir does not hold that Avodim like Karka. So the Gemara, Hi halacha kirameir, halacha kirabon boy. So the wording is wrong. If Rav actually held that an our mission is Rabbanon to say by Avodim, you can say Harechel Cholafnecha, take your Eved back, then he should have said the halacha like a Ramim. So the answers, you're right, that's exactly what he meant. But the Maida Avchitu, the Tanisa, you guys learn the mission in halacha, about some mayor that says by Avodim, I say that's halacha. But otherwise, we don't. The halacha is like the one who says that Eved is like Karka, and you can say Eved is Cholafnecha. We'll stop here. We're talking about Avodim, whether they're Karka.